Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. Before I get to my project, I wanted to go over the seasonal sale from Stampin Up that is going to go from tomorrow, well actually today, the 15th to the 18th. And there is 10% off punches, 15% off stamps, except for the host ones, 20% off dies, and 20% off DSP, but not the specialty. So if you've been looking at anything in the annual catalog, that's what is on sale. Alrighty. Okay, and this is my host code. If you're going to spend under $150, please put that in, and I can send you a little gift. Okay, my project today is a box that measures 3 3/4 by 2.5 by 1/2. And it opens like this, and inside are 6 Dove candies. These are the dark chocolates. One of my followers asked me to make a box for this, so I figured that's a great idea. I'm using all bundled up for the raccoon, the Deckled Rectangle dies for the designer series paper, and for the Snowflake paper that's on top. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see. Alrighty. And also the basic borders dies. I'm using this one here for the back. Now you don't have to do that. You can just tuck it in, or you can use a different border die, whatever you have. Alrighty, or you can get these. These are from the annual catalog. These will be 20% off starting tomorrow to the 18th. Okay, and these too, because these are from the annual catalog also. Alright, so what we need today is a piece of real red cardstock that is 6.5 by 6, a scrap piece for stamping of basic white. We need 2 of the Deckled Rectangles from the Sweetest Christmas DSP. And they measure about, so if you don't have the Deckled Rectangles, you can just cut them. This is 3.5 by 2 1/8. Okay, and they go on the front and the back. And a piece of the Snowflake Specialty Vellum. Okay, and that's another Deckled Rectangle die. And this is 1 3/4 by 3 1/8. Okay, if you just want to cut it. All right, so let me get my Simply Scored. I am going to start on the 6.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2, 3, 3.5, and 6. Then we're going to turn it to the 6 inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2, 4 1/4, and 4 3/4. Okie doke. Now I'm going to fold and burnish with my bone folder. Right, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to start on the bottom left, and we're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and then wedge up into the piece above it. Okay, then we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line, and then wedge each side of the square. Okay, now we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of this square. Okay, now we're going to turn it the other way onto the other side, and we're going to go start on the left again. We're going to go to the second score line, cut off this piece on the bottom, and then wedge a little bit off of each side of the square. Okay, we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line, next score line, cut it to the second score line. We're going to get rid of this rectangle on the bottom and then wedge each side of the square. Okay, now we're going to get rid of these 4 pieces, 3 rectangles and a square. So turn it a quarter turn. From the left, go up to the second score line and cut it to the second score line. Okay, now turn it back and you can wedge up into this skinny rectangle over here. Alrighty, so this is what it looks like after you're cutting. Now, what we're going to do for this flap here, I'm using this from the Basic Borders dies, and I'm going to put it about in the middle. You can measure it and put a dot if you want to, but I'm just going to guesstimate. And then I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put 2 pieces of tape just because the first time I did this it slid. All right, and then I'm going to run it through. Now when you run it through, this is 6.5, so you have to put one of the sides underneath or above. All right, and I'm going to run this through and I'll be right back. Okay, and let me just put these back out. All right, now this is what your cardstock's going to look like after you're done doing all of the cutting and the border. Okay, so now I'm going to take some tear-in tape and I'm going to put it on this left-hand skinny rectangle closest to the score line as I can get. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to get the backing off. I'm going to roll back any tape that went over the edge. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to fold over the side with the tape and then fold over this end to meet it. Okay, now this is going to be the back of our box where this little flap is. So I'm going to put the sides in and the back, and then I'm just going to put some glue on the back of the front flap. I'm just going to hold it there a little bit. Oops, make sure everything's straight. Okay, and that's the box. Okay, now I'm getting the Sweetest Christmas Deckled Rectangles. Each one is 3.5 by 2 1/8. Alrighty, and I'm going to put them on the front and under the flap on the back. I'm going to use liquid glue. Alright. Oops. Now we're going to let that dry a little and we're going to do our stamping. So we need our piece of basic white, and I'm going to be doing the raccoon first, and I'm going to be doing him with Tuxedo Black Ink. Okay, and then I didn't get another piece of our GSP for the sentiment, and it's pretty long, and we're going to use real red ink for this. Great. So we're just going to cut this by hand so it doesn't matter if there's that little bit there. Alright, so let's concentrate on our raccoon. Alrighty. I'm using light and dark smoky slate, light and dark real red, and just a little touch of light petal pink. Alright, so let's start with the raccoon. I'm going to use dark smoky slate first. I'm going to do the V on his face, around his eyes, his belly, and 2 of the stripes on his tail. Okay, and I'm going to bring in light smoky slate, and I'm going to do the rest of the raccoon. All right, I'm just going to add a little bit of light petal pink in the ears, just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to go over it again with light petal pink, or a light smoky slate. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go with the light and dark real red. I am going to color the middle of the hat and the band and the middle of the scarf, and then down the middle of this piece too with light real red. And then I'm going to take the dark real red and I'm just going to try to blend it to the edges. Alrighty, now, oops, I forgot the top of his hat there. Okay, now I'm just going to fussy cut it out by hand. Okay, there he is. So cute. Alrighty, now we need to put our chocolates in. And I got these, I think, from Walmart. They were 3 and change. So 6 of these will fit right in here. I actually made an entire box with a different DSP and then they didn't fit. But then I ended up changing the DSP anyway, so it's better that way. Okay, now I need some of the low profile adhesive Velcro dots and my take your pick tool. And I'm going to put one underneath right at the point and then the other one on top of it, adhesive up. And then just make sure everything is nice and even when you close it. And then push it a little gently and pick it up. Sometimes you have to use your take your pick tool to separate them under there, but this one came nicely. Okay, and there's your closure right like that. Alrighty. Okay, now I'm going to take some glittered organdy ribbon and I'm going to tie a bow. I'm going to wrap it around the short side and I'm going to tie a bow on the left hand side. All right. Okay, now I need our piece of the Snowflake Vellum DSP. It's a specialty, so this will not be on sale because it's a specialty. All right, so this one is from the Deckled Rectangles, 1 3/4 by 3 1/8, but you can just cut it. You don't have to have the edges like that. All right, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put my raccoon down. His tail is going to hang off about 1/4 inch on the right. And I'm going to try to make him even in the middle from top to bottom. Alrighty, so I'm going to get some dimensionals and mini dimensionals. And I'm going to turn him over. And I'm just going to put one there, one over there, and one here. Well, maybe one in the middle too. Okay, we don't need the dimension minis yet. All right, and I'm just going to take off the backings. All right, and I'm going to put him back where he was. I'm just going to put him down. Now, if any of the dimensionals stuck over just a tiny bit, it'll be fine. It'll stick on the box. But what I want you to do is flip them over and put a dimensional exactly where you put the dimensionals. You can see through it, because then you can attach this vellum without any showing. All right, And then I'm just going to put this right evenly on the box. It's a little bit crooked. Oops. There we go. Okay, see? Alrighty. Now we need our sentiment. Here it is. Alright, and I'm just going to cut it straight across. A little less on this side. Okay, and I'm going to cut it after it's feeling a lot, right after lot, right in the middle there. Okay, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to have it about 1/8 of an inch down from the top of the vellum, and it's just going to stick off a little bit on the left. But what I'm going to do is take a mini dimensional and I'm going to put it right on the back of the left part of the sentiment. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the rest of it. And I'm going to have this stick right there. Might have to hold it a little bit for it to stick to the vellum, but it will eventually. I kind of stuck this one out a little bit, so I'm just going to poke it in with my take your pick tool so it doesn't show. I might need just a tiny bit. And you know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to take let me take the top off first on a mini. Now if you don't want to do all of this, you could use a solid cardstock up here. You don't have to do the mini. I'm going to stick a mini dimensional under the end of that so that you don't see the dimensional holding down the cardstock, but there's one right underneath the end of under the vellum, under the end of the sentiment. Thank God his ear. There we go. Okay, now we're basically going to do the same thing over here. We're going to put, this time I'll do it an easier way. I'm going to put the dot halfway sticking off from underneath the vellum. Okay, I'm going to put it under the vellum, sticking out just about 1/8 of an inch right there. Okay. Okay, and then we need the other side of our sentiment. And I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on the beginning on the back. And then we're just going to have this sticking off about 1/8 of an inch. And then just hold this side. And it looks like we can set another mini dimensional under the beginning of it too, under the vellum. But if you don't mind that it's kind of free there, then you don't have to do it. But I like to secure it so it doesn't catch on anything. All right, and I'm just going to put it right under the beginning, under the vellum and the sentiment, under the sentiment so you can't see through the vellum. All right, and then that says it's feeling a lot like Christmas. Okie dokie, now I'm going to take some Wink of Stella. Straighten this out, get all the junk out of the way. I'm going to get my Wink of Stella and I'm going to put it on the hat and the scarf. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to add some of the Adhesive back stars and some Red Rhinestone basic jewels. So the Adhesive back stars, goodness. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and this is the pointy end. I'm going to twist it and pull, and then the spatula comes out. And pull it in, push it in, and twist the other way, and then it's secure. All right, I'm going to use one of the large stars. Oops. And I'm going to put it right next to, a little bit lower, and next to the sentiment. And then I'm going to put a small one I'm going to move this one out a little bit more. There we go. And then I'm going to put this one in towards the raccoon's face, and then another small one down over here, right above the tail. Okay, then I'm going to take the red rhinestone basic jewels, and I'm going to switch back to my pointy and use the other side. This is the sticky end of the take your pick tool. And I'm going to put a red rhinestone basic jewel in the middle of each one of these stars. There you go. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, my email is below. And talking about my email, I have to apologize. I wasn't getting any emails from Stampin Up or any of my subscribers. They were all going to my junk mail, and I don't know for how long, because I used to just erase it because I was quick scroll down and I didn't see. So I apologize to anyone who I didn't answer that has messaged me in the last month or so. I'm so sorry about that. They used to all come to my inbox. I don't know what's going on there, but I will check my junk mail every day now. Alrighty. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow, actually. Alright, don't forget about the seasonal sale, and this is my host code for anything under $150, and please subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.